Welcome to Play by Ear for Lesson 3. In the foundations, you will see some very important information that is going to affect all of the lessons coming up. I encourage you to check it out. I show how important it is to get the fingering lined up so you can cover more notes than are under the 5 fingers. It's called changing hand position. Thumb under and finger over. So you want to spend some time with that. In this lesson, there are a couple things that will stand out. Rhythm-wise, we do almost a syncopated feel. If it slows down enough, it's not technically syncopation, which is offbeats and stuff. But the feel is important to get, and so I spend a lot of time with that. It happens in the left hand of 2 of the songs we do. Okay, so I spent quite a bit of time explaining how to do that and how to feel the rhythm and work it out. So you want to check that out. The main idea that I wanted to share with you today to help you as you figure out how to play by ear is to start to notice that the chords change sometimes in very regular ways. What I mean by that is, let me just go back to that example. Those are if I add a melody note, that's actually what they call a C chord, right? And that's a G chord. So that's the sound that changes, right? But it doesn't change randomly, it changes very regular. That was 2 measures of C, 1 measure of G, back to C. So if you're really strictly playing by ear, that's a really important thing to figure out. When do the chord changes happen? Very often they'll be on the measure, on the bar line. So this is counted 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. So 4 beats in each measure, and then it changes at a regular spot. You start to listen for the chord changes and identify what melody note, where it happens when that change happens. So in the Ode to Joy one, it actually happens on the 2nd measure. Change. Change. Right? So we've already talked about the value of listening to a song multiple times and the value of the add one, where you figure out a chunk and then you figure out, well, what's the next note, right? So that was covered mostly in lesson 1 video. And then there's this idea of having, okay, the melody is here when the left hand changes and they come together. We want to identify those spots. What is the melody note when the left hand changes? And in this case, when the chord changes. It's very regular in these songs, and the songs are familiar. The first 2 particularly. Great place to start to get a sense of harmony. So harmony is more than 1 note at a time. They're organized in chords: C chord, F chord, C chord, G chord, C, right? And you'll start to recognize that. A lot of play-by-ear musicians, they generally really get into this idea of the chords. So they'll play the melody and then they know the chord changes. So guitarists, bass guitarists who play in a band particularly, jazz musicians, folk musicians, bluegrass musicians, they really identify with these chords. So I wanted to present that idea to you as a big theme that you can carry for the first and the second song. Now for the third song, that's a classical piece of music, comes from a symphony, and it's pretty tricky, but it does come in the music sandwich mode. Bread, peanut butter and jelly, bread. So the beginning and the ending are the same. The middle is the same, right? Or is different, and it happens twice. So it's very, very organized. So that one's a slower piece, and it's got some really cool things in it. And if you want to sneak over to look at the written music to kind of check out the patterns, you can. A lot of people will just sort of they'll start in the play-by-ear mode, and then they'll hit this place where the music is really difficult, and then they go and start to look at the music a little bit. There are styles of music where the play-by-ear really fits well. Bluegrass music, Celtic music, a lot of folk songs, a lot of jazz, popular songs. Playing them without reading music is totally legit. You can get the feeling of the music a lot easier. About 25% of the songs among the 36 that you can take here for free, those are classical pieces. And the more complicated they get, the more challenging it is to do it strictly by ear. So, and the Largo is a little bit that case. So if you just want to like listen to the Largo and just kind of go on and skip it, that's quite all right. But it's a beautiful piece of music, and you can learn the melody for sure. And if you really work at it, you can figure out the other parts as well. So I hope you enjoy working through those pieces, and I'll look forward to catching up with you for lesson 4. Take care.